And welcome to the Race by Race preview for Sha Tin on Sunday. That's not Paul Ella, that's Tom Wood, who's going to provide us the selections throughout the Race by Race preview. 6 on the turf, on the C+3 and 4 on the all-weather. The first is a Class 5 over the 1800 metres. Starship 80's going up in trip from the 1650. Co-partner Era's won 4 races. Brother Pearl certainly improved at his last 2. Diamond Winner's placed his last 3 over 1800 metres. General Winner has the hood going back on, and Joyful Champion coming back from the 2200 to the 1800 metres here, Tom. The speed map here has Mr. Arm and Super Hornet going forward.
Yeah, Mr. Arm, he's a horse that likes to race up on the pace. Dylan Moe riding him, and Super Hornet's drawn barrier 11, so they just might try and press on with him, but they've also got options to maybe go back, but they certainly have gone forward with him in the past. Fast Pass, he jumped well last time out. He's potentially an alternate sort of horse to maybe be outside Mr. Arm. And then Joyful Champion there as well. But yeah, Mr. Arm, you could maybe even make a case for Fast Pass being up on the pace as well.
He has been certainly in front a number of times, Fast Pass, but just hasn't been able to run it out. Here's some recent form. Tom, we start over the 1400 metres of this one, so extra 400 metres for them to run. Here's Super Hornet. He ends up running 12th after being on the pace. Co-partner Era makes up some ground. Yeah,
he's rated 14, Super Hornet. I can't have him here. Haven't had him in any of his 22 starts to date so far. But I think you can make a strong case about the other horse here, Co-partner Era. Chris So and Derek Long, beaten 3 1/4 last time out. Did run into some trouble in the straight. You can see him having to switch down to the inside there. And that horse that's winning this race, Chunwan Glory, has come out and won again. And the second horse has also been able to win. So I think there's some good form around that horse there. It's been a while since he's won 669 days, but off a higher rating.
It has been a little while, but he certainly gets an opportunity to change that on Sunday. Next replay, Brother Pearl, much better at his last 2. He comes off a couple of 4th placings. Starship 80's had a busy season, but should appreciate going up from the 1600 to the 1800.
Yeah, and he got tangled up in that horse that went amiss down the straight as well. So his run, I think, was quite good as well. Starship 80, he was making some ground. I think Brother Pearl's right in this. Jerry Chow, Dennership, only beaten 3/4 here behind Smart Beauty. Was a blanket finish, but he has been getting better.
What about Diamond Winner, Tom? We're more used to seeing him at Happy Valley on a midweek meeting. Joyful Champion didn't get the 2200 metres this night. Green Laser was a winner 2 starts ago. Is Diamond Winner the best of this trio?
Yeah, he definitely is. Antoine Hamlin riding well. John Sizer wasn't totally convinced about him over 2200 metres 3 starts ago, but he was better last time out behind Golden Ferry. But he's just one of those horses that just sort of keeps on here at the 1 speed, not beaten overly far, back in distance to the 1800 metres. So he's got claims in this. It's not a strong lineup.
It is not. So who wins it?
On top is Co-partner Era, number 3. He's going well at the moment. I think he's a horse that has won off high ratings in the past, so he's clearly on top. Co-partner Era. Brother Pearl is in. Starship 80, his run had some merit about it behind Smart Beauty and Diamond Winner. I thought they looked the 4 in a limited field, 3, 5, 1 and 6.
Tom's thoughts for race number 1 at Sha Tin on Sunday with a post time of 1 p.m. Spinning up race number 2 at Sha Tin in the Race by Race preview, and this is over the 1200 metres for the Class 4 gallopers. And Jumbo Legend gets a £10 claim for Ellis Wong. Super Highway, 3-time course and distance winner with a £5 claim for Angus Chung. Co-partner Prance has a better draw than what he has had at his first 3 starts. First starters Chateau Neuf and Great Spirit. Massive Talent is a last start winner. Never peter out. He's on debut. He's had 4 trials. Robot Knight ran 4th on debut. Compassion Super has the cross nose band off. Sea Sapphire, the cheek piece is off. Pacifiers with cowls go on him. And Commanding Missile visor off. Blinkers and hood have been re-added, and Sea Sapphire has been leading up on race day and at the trials, Tom.
He didn't lead last time out, but his prior 2 runs he did lead. He was up on the pace at his debut. Co-partner Prance should be somewhere in close attendance as well. Had to do a little bit of work early last time out. Looks tricky for Commanding Missile. Horses like Jumbo Legend, Super Highway, Never Peter Out probably also gets back as well. He was just half a stride slow in his most recent barrier trial.
We have an interview to kick off race number 2. Nick spoke to the trainer of last start winner Massive Talent. It's Mark Newnham.
Mark Noonan, massive talent, a runner for you coming up on the weekend. Good to see him finally get that win last time.
Yeah, look, his first couple of runs from me had both been good from bad gates, and then he pulled up with a little bit of blood in the trachea with his only poor run of the season, but he bounced back with a good win and a good ride from Matthew at his last start.
You mentioned some of that early promise. On his stable debut for you, he actually ran quite a nice race, didn't he? Went fourth that day.
Yeah, and he found the line well from a bad gate. We rode him just quietly, so he showed the benefit of having a good gate last start, and he got into a good position. He actually showed a really good turn of foot to come between them and put them away well.
He had the tongue tie on last time as well. How much do you think that's helped him?
Oh, no, helped for sure. I think that was part of the problem from the start before, and he trialled well in it. And, since that last start win, he's had a tick over trial just to keep his fitness levels up, and he goes to Sunday in good shape.
Never easy here, of course, when horses do win and creep up the handicap. He's gone up £6, but are you confident enough that there is still a bit more to work with this guy?
Yeah, look, I'm sure there is. He came to me with having only had one start, previously, so, he was open to improvement, and I think, all the way through, he's shown enough to say that, he's still got a bit more left in him.
Talking of massive talent, a horse with plenty of it clearly is Win Cheetah. You introduced him there recently. Nice win on debut. That must have been pleasing, given obviously the slight hiccup you had on his intended debut. But he's a nice horse, that guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly is. He's a big raw horse, and he came here with only one trial in Adelaide, so he didn't come here with a lot of education. And the other day he did a good job. It's hard for a horse to come across heels and quicken between horses then, having their first start. So he did it, and he put them away pretty quickly. We'll probably run him again on the third now.
All right, so you can save that date for Win Cheetah if you backed him like on the weekend or on Monday. Tom certainly found him as one to follow out of the meeting. Co-partner Prance, Tom, you're all over co-partner era in the first. This horse done a good job at his last two from unsuitable draws. Keegan DeMello rides again for Francis Louis.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of merit, Mark, in those few runs to date so far. Got a long way back, or was up near the pace, I should say, at Happy Valley, but it was a tough run he had there. And again, he backed that up with two solid runs thereafter for the second behind Run Timing, beaten 3/4 of a length. So he's had just over a month between runs, but I think he's definitely ready to win. He's had a trial since he was third in that barrier trial. He just needed to draw a gate, and he's got a better draw here, barrier 8, compared to some of those double figure ones he's had.
Got two trials to look at. The first is Chateau Neuf up at Chung Fa. He's had the three trials. Zach Purton rides on debut for David Hayes, and this one looked very slick.
Certainly did. A 3-year-old by Fastnet Rock out of a Savabeel mare. 3 trials, a couple of wins, one trial at Happy Valley as well, where he ran second. And you can see racing here in the Robert Ung colours, moving up to them quickly. That horse to his insides had a start just the other day, and just seemed to do it quite easily over the final stages, did Chateau Neuf. He travelled wide to here. Zach Purton was aboard on that trial 2 back at Happy Valley. He's right in this, but barrier 10 is a little tricky over the 1,200 metres.
You've been watching the trials and spied this horse that runs 6th here, Great Spirit. You think there's a big chance he can make it a winning debut?
Oh, I don't think they've totally let him go here. You can see he's in behind the Compassion horse in front here. Clearly wants to go a bit quicker. Karis Teaton has been aboard for all of his 4 trials. He's a 3-year-old by American Pharaoh out of a Magnus mare. Stable not known really for them performing first up. You could maybe make an exception there with Run Timing, who we saw in one of those replays before coming out of the Dennership barn, but he's been under a hold in all of his trials, so we're keen to see what he can do. I think from a good draw barrier 2, he's the pick of the 2 debutants here.
That is a good report for Great Spirit. So from Cordyceps 1 winning for the stable on Thursday night to Great Spirit winning on debut.
Yep, Great Spirit here, the pick of the 3 debutants, I should say, in this race for Dennership, and riding here is Karis Teaton off those trials. Co-partner Prance is certainly in, as too is Chateau Neuf, just drawn in barrier 10. And have always been keen on Massive Talent, but it was with Geneva last time out, and he was able to roll. Geneva was Massive Talent. Mark Newnham and Matthew Chadwick, he's had a trial since as well. 6, 4, 5 and 7.
Great Spirit to make it 1 start for 1 win for Tom in the second at Sha Tin. Race number 3, now we go up in trip to the 1,400 metres for this one. It's another Class 4 event with Unpresuming first up. He's had 6 trials, all up at Chung Fa to prepare. Round the Earth is also resuming. He's had 2 trials and been hard-ridden in them. He hasn't raced since June. Blinkers come off Around the Earth. Show Respect is on a 6-day backup. Celtic Times has placed 4 from 7 this season. Travel Golf is minus the visor. All Riches has had 3 trials since his last start. Likely to go forward also, and Sunny Shine's a gear change. The blinkers have been added to him. Now the speed, Tom, is with All Riches leading. Celtic Times' amazing run across the track in the first 3.
Yeah, he's a demon leader, is All Riches, and he's first up off a break of 217 days. Amazing run. They went forward with him last time from a wider draw, so he's drawn wider again. So you'd say that might be the tactic again. Celtic Times was just in behind them, but went off as a crazy 2.2 favourite. Never looked a winning hope. And Travel Golf coming back to Sha Tin, but All Riches should be able to lead easily here.
Here is the race you mentioned with amazing run going forward last time, and he's up outside the speed here. He has run on well when they've taken him back at times, and also Celtic Times, who was that short-priced favourite, looked to have every chance on the inside, but a plus for him that Zach is sticking.
Yeah, certainly is, but he is a 17-start maiden, so that would have to be the concern, and as you mentioned, seemingly had every possible hope last time out. Amazing run, did strike the front here, but was in the end beaten 2 lengths. He's got barrier 12, so may just have to work a little here in the early stages. Amazing run. This is only his 2nd run in the grade, and just sort of peaked late on the performance there, but certainly wasn't the worst, but barrier 12 does make it a little tough.
What do you make of the chances of Compassion Spirit? He certainly races well when he's in Class 4. He's a 4-time winner in this grade. And Manfred Mann trains Alexi Bedell to ride from a wide draw, barrier number 11.
He had a nice run, 1 back, 1 out last time out, and he was there to challenge, but just looked a little one-paced, I thought, over the final stages. Now, this is a horse that hasn't won since December of 2022 off a rating of 60, and in this contest he's found himself here off 57 from a wide draw. That was sort of the concern I had maybe with the draw, but in a race where I thought it was a little tough, he could sort of be a potential chance in it. He was at 4.8 last time out behind Superb Kid, and he's racing well. So if he can just overcome that draw, I think he's definitely a winning chance.
That's a good report for him. And off to Chung Fa we go now, Tom, for our final trial. This is All Riches. He's a member of the Inform Ricky U stable. Hasn't raced for quite some time. First run this season. Trials have all looked okay.
He's had a lame right front leg. That was after his last start behind Parterre at the final meeting of last season. We've seen Parterre come out the other day and win. So here he is first up. Never placed first, second or third, but he has run 4th on 2 occasions from his first up start. So you can see no real pressure put on him over the final stages. The top 2 got away. So yeah, I think he's a chance here. It's a race, as I said, it's open. I didn't think had a lot of depth.
Okay, so who did you settle on in the end as spots 1, 2, 3, 4?
Did go with the Compassion Spirit in at the end, and this was trained by Manfred Mann. Alexi Bedell, barrier 11. Hopefully he can tuck in and get some cover somewhere. All Riches is certainly in. Travel Golf, I'll give him another chance coming back to Sha Tin. He's 0 from 5 here so far. The visor coming off, but he has run some useful races at Happy Valley. Ran into Super Joy and Fun last time out. And Amazing Run might be the best of the rest in an open race. 5, 9, 8 and 2.
As Tom's thoughts on race number 3, an open race with the field of 14 to face the starter. Race number 4 now. We come back in trip from the 1400 to the 1200 metres for this race. And at the top of the book, James Tack. He's trialled well, running 3rd behind Parents' Love since his last start. 3rd, Give Me 5 and Golden 1 both on debut. They've had 5 and 6 trials respectively. Silver Destiny has the tongue tie going on. Sky Trust will wear a hood. Lucky Fion, he draws the gate. He's had 13 and 12 at his first 2 starts. He jumps from barrier number 4. And Speedy Fortune's impressively won a trial since his last start, with Nishikado down the bottom for Ben Thompson and Me Choi. But it worked in the trial, Tom. Speedy Fortune, he just charged along in the lead, so straight to the front again, says Mr. Lally.
Yeah, and I think he can certainly roll along here quite nicely off the front. Speedy Fortune coming back up in trip as well. Regent Glory from barrier 7 to get across to be handy. James Tack with a nice run. Looks a little tricky for Silver Destiny, who had barrier 1 at his debut. He's got barrier 10 here. There was a fair bit of market support for him, but might get caught wide as they head to that first turn.
Replay number 1 features James Tack. Now, he runs third here. He's done a good job in a short career. 3 starts for a win, a third and a fourth. He does carry extra weight. Ellis took 10 off in this. Jerry Chow jumps on board, so there's an extra 8 pounds on his back for this third placing.
He's got to get the perfect run in the race from barrier 2, but I think he was very effective down the straight, but I think, yeah, it's certainly the right time to step him up and trip now here. Ran into Super Commander this day and ran third. He's trialled since. He looked good enough in that trial. So even though he's got extra weight on, he's going to get the perfect run in the race, and he'll be right there to strike. And he's not done too much wrong in his 3 career starts so far. So definitely want to be on him here.
That's a good start to the replays around James Tack. The second one features Speedy Fortune running third. He has won over the 1200. He's raced plenty of times down the straight, but his win was over the 1200 metres off a rating of 42. And Sky Trust was on debut, so he steps up in trip 2 from the 1000 to the 1200.
Yeah, Zach getting down to a 1-2-1 here, and sticking with this horse for his second rider aboard him has to be a positive. The form's been franked out of this race. Panda, the horse in the red cap back on the fence, has been able to win. So definitely keen on Speedy Fortune. Sky Trust, I think that the step up will really suit him. Hood goes on as well, and was chased along before the 500, but did stay on quite well there. So we're definitely entertaining him too.
This horse, Tom, a Lucky Fion's done a really good job, even though he has a 5 and a 4 next to his name. He's been forced to go back, but he's made up many lengths, and Antoine Hemlin rides him this week for Jamie Richards' Lucky Fion.
Yeah, and that barrier 4 is going to be the big asset for him this time round. He's got a long way out of his ground, and then he's charged down the middle part of the track here late in the piece to pick up 5th placing behind Ace Victory, who's come out of a useful form race. So definitely keen on him. He's closed off in 22.41 for his final 400 metres, so there was a lot to like about his run. Lucky Fion there.
It's not a bad field, this one.
No, it's not. I'm siding, though, with James Tack at the top in this race to beat Lucky Fion. I think it can be between those two. Speedy Fortune for Zach Purton with the lightweight. Then it was a toss-up between Silver Destiny and Sky Trust. Sky Trust drawn wide, so he's barrier 12. Silver Destiny here, drawn a couple of places in from him. Hopefully he can get in for Karis Teton and Dennis Ship. He's trialled okay since. 1, 8, 11 and 6.
They've combined well, Jerry Chow and Benno Young, and Tom thinks they'll combine again to win race number 4. The first trip to the all-weather for the day will be race number 5. Plenty of these have raced against each other time and time again. They run over the 1650 this week, and Viva Hunter carries an extra £10 in his third placing last time. Senior riders on board. Zach Purton takes over from Ellis Wong. Amazing Teens has won 4 on the all-weather Bear Slam. And the horse above him, Blissful Star, both last start winners. Mission Bravo, he ran second last time. Got Lucky Banner with the pacifiers going on. Sir Hurricane has the cheek pieces off, the pacifiers go on him. And G-Line is a last start winner too, and he's trialled well up at Chungfa since that last start victory. Pace good here, Tom. Mission Bravo leads up. Lucky Banner, Viva Hunter, and G-Line is going to get a good run.
He should do. The exception for Mission Bravo last time was that he missed the start, and he has missed the start in a recent barrier trial, so maybe a little question mark over him. There, Viva Hunter shouldn't be far away. He's a horse that has led in the past. Looks tricky for Lucky Banner, another horse that has led, but he's normally always handy. Then you've got Blissful Start and Mayhem back on the inside. A few on the 3 wide line there as well, but a few question marks maybe around Mission Bravo jumping.
He's in the first replay, and this is the race that you mentioned where he was slow at, and he's actually charged down the outside to run second. G-Liner leads and wins. Viva Hunter makes ground, and Lucky Banner, he ends up running 4th. He looked to be working towards a win, but appeared to have every chance this night.
Yeah, and he couldn't reel them in here over the final stages, but G-Liner was good off the front here for Karis Teton. Drawn the same alley again, barrier number 4. Should get sort of similar circumstances here. They've got the option to lead if they want to, with Mission Bravo drawing in barrier 6, whether they battle over the early stages or not. But he kicked strongly here to win. Viva Hunter's got more weight to carry, but he's back at about his right mark now too.
Our next replay also on the all-weather. This was a tough win by Blissful Star. It took him a long time to get there. Indeed, he only just managed to grab the win at the post. Amazing Teens, he's better winning form's been over 1,800 metres, and Harry's Hero, he leads for home here, ends up running 6th.
He's £5 better off Amazing Teens with that turnaround here on Blissful Star for that short head beating that short head win that Blissful Star put up. Amazing Teens was beaten 3 lengths. He looked like he was going to be worried out of it here, Blissful Star, by winning steps. Harry's Hero, not the worst in this race, I feel, as well, but Barrier 11 doesn't make it easy. He's £9 better off, but Blissful Star right on the cusp of going in, but sometimes can be a little hard to follow, but seems like he's in good form at the moment.
Newcomer Tom to the all-weather is California Totality. He ends up running 4th here. He's lightly raced, had the 4 starts, couple of 4ths, a 3rd and a 6th. His racing style, if he handles the all-weather, would suggest the 1650 is going to be ideal, wouldn't it?
It should be. The way he's been getting back and running on, and he covered ground here last time out as well. There was a fair bit of support for him. He was 3-1, and he only went down 1 3/4 lengths behind Fantastic Choice, and you can see really doing his best work late here over the final stages. Angus Chung taking weight off, so he's only got 119 pounds on his back. He's the major worry, I think, in this race for a horse like G-Liner. He'll be one of the swoopers here.
All right, is he in your selections and whereabouts?
He's in for second, Mark, but I went with the G-Liner. Sticking with the G-Liner, I was with him last time out, so not going to drop off here from a good draw. And if Mission Bravo's not there, he'll be up right in the firing line here, will G-Liner. California Totality onto the surface for the first time. Viva Hunter for Zach Purton, and Mission Bravo, but just a question mark if he jumps or not. He's £4 better off for that 3/4 of a length beating from G-Liner last time out. Didn't jump cleanly in his recent trial. 12, 10, 1 and 7.
That's race number 5. It's on the all-weather, and it's also the first leg of 6 Up. We stay on the all-weather for race number 6, but come back to the 1,200 metres for this race, and we've got Fastback, who's won a trial since his last start down the track performance. He did win course and distance 2 starts ago. Diamond Flare has the tongue tie going back on. Life is Good steps up from the 1,000 to the 1,200 metres. Speedy Smarties runs second at his last 2 starts. Hinakami Kagura blinkers off, pacifiers with the cows go on him. A firm 6-day backup back in trip, and Miracles and Beat Hollow down the bottom. But it's a race, Tom, where it's loaded with pace.
Certainly is. Colourful Prince is one of those. Diamond Flare's a horse that can go forward. Speedy Smarty shouldn't be too far away. Maybe even Triumphant Warrior can be somewhere there as well, but he's got a little bit of a wide stall to try and overcome. And then you've got Affirm and Miracles and Beat Hollows. So you could maybe even upgrade the pace from good to fast for this. I think they'll go very quick.
Even Strive for Glory's gone forward in the past too, so he's a last start winner coming into it. Swoopers might be the way to go here. Speedy Smarty was up outside the pace. Diamond Flare ended up running 12th in this race. There was nothing in the report other than Luke Ferraris mentioned possibly he might have got his tongue back during the run. Yeah,
so the stewards deemed it disappointing. He has been back to the trial since, and he won a trial in good style there. But this is Strive for Glory charging down the middle to reel in Speedy Smarty. Whether you trust Strive for Glory to go back-to-back. He's won 2 of his last 4. One of them, of course, was in Class 5, and he was basically last there, chased along. Speedy Smarty, definitely worth including, though. If you're a Diamond Flare fan, the trial wasn't too bad.
It was not, and an extra £6 on the back of Strive for Glory for that win. Cool Blue, cool blue, cool blue. So many times he's promised to deliver on the weather, he just can't get the win on the board. This was better. He ended up running second, barrier number 12, but with the pace, he's probably going to go back anyway.
You can deal me out of Cool Blue. He's had 12 starts, 2 second placings. Frankie Laura, Alexi Bedell, barrier 12. He's stayed on here okay behind Sky Forever to be the best of the rest, but no, he's been too costly in the past. I'm not entertaining him here.
He is out, is Cool Blue of Tom's selections for race number 6. Some turf form now from not too long ago with Beat Hollow. He's been racing well, Beat Hollow. Comes into this grade with a lightweight and a £5 claim for Angus Chung and Affirm. He's been better since he stepped up in trip, but comes back to the 1,200 here.
So he had to be chased along here, Affirm. Now, not sure what was going on with Beat Hollow here, and Alice Wong looking down and around at about the 400 metres for whatever reason. And in the end, he's run 4th behind an informed Chunwan Glory, who's put a couple together. Affirm looks like he's definitely ready to win a race. He was 3rd at Happy Valley. He was 2nd here on Monday, only beaten a neck, and he was only reeled in late here as well. Barrier number 5, as long as he can handle the quick turnaround of 6 days, he's definitely in this for his second start on the all-weather.
Who do you like to win race number 6?
Yeah, I thought this was a relatively tricky affair. Going with this horse, though, Triumphant Warrior, who is here on screen as well, Danny Shum and Jerry Chow. This horse has won a recent barrier trial on the all-weather. He's a 4-year-old by Bungle in the Jungle, and Danny Shum trains him onto the surface for the first time. First up, he was beaten 3/4 of a length at 29-1 behind Scotch Tycoon, 9-1 at his next start behind Beauty Infinity. Copped a check early in the run, and then last time out behind Massive Talent was beaten 5 lengths. But maybe he's found a home here on the all-weather with this trial. We'll need some luck from barrier 9, but should be a genuine each-way price.
There is your winning selection for Tom in race number 6. Who runs in behind him?
He got Speedy Smarty in for a second here behind Triumphant Warrior. Zach Purton riding Speedy Smarty for Benno Jung. Firm is in, and Fast Buck failed on the turf last time out. Brenton of Dulla here for John Size, of course, was a winner on the surface behind Diamond Flare, or over Diamond Flare 2 starts ago, and has won a trial leading all of the way since. So 5, 6, 10 and 1.
An all-weather winning debut for Tom with Triumphant Warrior to win race number 6. There is more all-weather racing for race number 7. Good field this one too. Should be a competitive old race, and it's over the 1200 metres. It's a Class 3, and Armour Eagle makes his all-weather debut. Minus the blinkers, the pacifiers with cows go on. Golden Field's a newcomer. He's had 8 trials out of the Chris So stable. Smoky Bear, 4 starts, course and distance for 2 wins and a placing. Tornado Phantom has the pacifiers going back on. Baby Crystal, very impressive on the turf last time. Extra 13 pounds on his back for his all-weather debut. Victory Moment steps up in trip. California Touch is minus the hood. And down the bottom we've got Montefruta, who was scratched on the 24th of January with a heart irregularity, and Sports Legend, who ran 4th last time. Mark the Moment, Baby Crystal lead here. Tom, California Touch, Sports Legend not too far away, and work for Good Buddy and Smoky Bear.
Yeah, Baby Crystal onto the surface for the first time. Mark the Moment's been going well enough without winning, but he is a 14-start maiden. Good Buddy, again, hasn't drawn a kind gate. Sports Legend, like he did last time out, should get a relatively good run in transit, and California Touch didn't do a great deal last time out, and he's onto the surface for the first time.
Got plenty of horses to look at in our first replay that are clashing again here. Mark the Moment leads for home. Sports Legend outside of him. Smoky Bear, he runs second. He's a noted all-weather performer, and Tornado Phantom finishes 5th in this race, but he was good enough to win course and distance 4 starts ago.
Yeah, I've left Smoky Bear out at my peril here. Just barrier 12 was the thing I was not overly keen on him here. He's had some good draws and run some decent race, and you can see him diving down to the inside here of Mark the Moment. I didn't think Sports Legend was the worst here. He was behind the pace, so I wanted to give him another chance, but certainly keen though on Tornado with Phantom. John Size, Karis Teton, pacifiers going back on. We know he goes well this surface, and he's normally a very consistent type.
Here's the win by Baby Crystal. Tom, it was very good, but all-weather, extra 200 metres and the bigger weight. Is he the sort of horse you think that can handle that?
Not overly convinced, and you can see in this race here, had this been maybe 1200 metres, you can just see how quite keen he was behind Super Commander here. If he races like that here over 1200 metres with the extra weight on his back, I do worry about that for Baby Crystal. So he's not in here, and he was certainly backed heavily at his first up run at 2.5 behind Lucky Archangel, and then ran second, certainly right in the market again behind Funnily. Won here nicely, but if he races a bit hot, extra weight, extra distance, that's a worry.
A few concerns around Baby Crystal then with those factors. Back to the all-weather now, Tom, and Sky Forever's a last start winner. This over the 1200 metres on the 24th of January. Manfred Man trains, and an informed Brenton Avdulla on board.
Yeah, this horse put up a good performance over the 1400 metres on the turf at Sha Tin. Behind Aoraki Summit going back a couple of runs ago when he was held up, and then he was behind Tornado Phantom on the all-weather over the 1200 metres and was only beaten 2 3/4 there, and put up a stylish run here to clear out. So he's certainly in. Brenton of Dulla and Manfred Man with a good barrier draw to boot.
The newcomer Golden Field, plenty of trials to get ready. His wins in Brazil over 1,300 metres and 1,400 metres, so he kicks off over the 12 here. That Silver King to his outside. Has he done enough at the trials to grab your interest on debut in Hong Kong?
He's coming here on a difficult rating of 71. He was Group 1 fourth placed on a mile circuit there in Brazil, and then on a rain-affected track was third. And when he did win, one of them was on a good track and one was on a rain-affected track. Trial was okay. Happy to watch though. He's been gelded since he was here. Drawn well, so should get every chance, but happy just to see how he can go first up.
A few chances here.
There are. Toronado Phantom, I thought, might come up a genuine sort of price here in this sort of lineup. Always consistent. Wasn't beaten too far behind Watch Buddy last time out, and he's been a pretty useful horse around the valley, has Watch Buddy. So he's on top ahead of Sky Forever. Victory Moments, one we haven't spoken about too much. There was a run from him last time out, which was first up for quite some time, and he was only beaten 3 lengths, so you'd expect him to improve. And Sports Legend should be right behind the pace and just peaked on his run late last start. 4, 7, 8 and 12.
The combination of Sha Tin and John Size on top for Tom to win race number 7. The feature race on Sunday is the TVB Cup. It is race number 8. It is a Class 2 event over the 1,400 metres, with Good Luck Friend second up and a £5 claim. Attala Bagil placed here last time. Gummy Gummies finished top 2 his last 7 starts. Find My Love comes back from the 1650. Youthful Deal makes an appearance on the turf here. Superb Boys placed his last 2 course and distance, and Global Harmony has the cheek pieces off and the blinkers going on. Now, the speed map has Global Harmony at the back, Tom, but as we know, he didn't jump last time.
Yeah, that's the key. If he jumps Global Harmony, he was okay jumping out in those barrier trials, but he was in a mood before the start in his most recent barrier trial. Dromberg Banner should be able to lead here. Keefe's hopelessly out of form at the moment, and he's drawn wide, but is a horse that normally does race relatively handy. Good Luck Friend has been closer than he was just on Monday at Sha Tin, so he might be close here from barrier 6, and then you've got Superb Boy, who should get a lovely run through. And Silver King has led up in his first 2 runs, but was stranded wide last time out and couldn't lead.
Tom's thoughts shortly on race number 8. Firstly though, Nick, with the trainer of Alacrity, it's Jamie Richards.
Jamie, Alacrity is your runner in the TVB Cup. That was a nice return to form last time.
Yeah, he ran well. He's a South American horse, and we sort of thought that the dirt would suit him. And yeah, he jumped away well and ended up on the pace, which is probably not where we thought we were going to be, but it worked out well for him. And unfortunately, All for St Paul's just with the clay kicked off the corner, and we weren't able to run him down. But he ran a good, honest race, and he seems to be in good form.
I know pedigree obviously being one thing, but had he always shown you that he might well adapt to the surface?
Yeah, well, the main surface that we trial on here is the dirt, and obviously they work on it every day. But yeah, we just thought that was a surface for him, and there's some other races on the all-weather coming up that he'll be targeted towards as well.
If we sort of pick the bones out of his form, I mean, there was a really good run back in October off of a pound lower course and distance. That certainly brings him into this, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's a funny horse. He just can't get his head and nose in front, but he's running well. He's just a little bit, he sort of doesn't make it easy on himself sometimes. Sometimes he wants to over-race and get a bit keen. When he sort of settles back, he can finish off his races. When he's exposed, he's just a little bit soft in the finish. So he just needs the race map and everything to work out well for him. And obviously the barrier draws aren't out yet, but hopefully he can draw a nice gate and get a bit of cover and finish the race off strongly.
What's his best trip in your mind, Jamie? I mean, he's an 1,800 metre winner. You're bringing him back in distance here. What's his best distance, do you think?
I don't know. Won over 1,800 last season with no headgear on. And then we were sort of playing around with him a bit earlier in the season, just seeing if he wanted to be a bit shorter and a bit sharper with blinkers on. But anyway, 1,400 Sunday and then 1,650 and then possibly back up to 1,800 again after that. But he's probably just on his rating a little bit as well, and just finding one better or a couple better in those races. And if Global Harmony jumps on terms on Sunday, he might well find one better again. But if you're not in, you can't win.
Absolutely true. Just finally, a nice trial since his last run as well?
Yeah, just maintenance trial for him. He seems to be doing well and happy with his condition going into the race.
Jamie mentioning there, if Global Harmony jumps, Tom, well, this is what happened last time where he didn't jump. We'll have a look at his trial shortly where he has bounced back, but it just refused to go this day.
Yeah, stayed in there and would not move. So I can imagine David Hayes come Sunday afternoon when this race is set to jump, he'll be feeling pretty nervous about what he is going to do, because trials and race days are totally different, but he's passed the trials so far. A lot to like about the run here of the horse that's sitting third at the moment. Superb Boy had a good run just off the fence. I think he's going to get a very similar run here. Challenged in the straight here, and in the end was headed beaten by Mugen, who has subsequently been beaten. But Red Lion, How Deep Is Your Love have come through this race, and Ortula Begil beat both of those horses home. Dron Big Banner will be up on the pace, but just think he's probably not going to find this overly easy. Definitely keen on Ortula Begil and Superb Boy out of that.
It's a couple to keep an eye on. Now, here is Global Harmony. Tom, you mentioned he's been back to the trials. This is what he did down the straight. You were there this morning. You said previously he was a bit cantankerous on the way to the gates.
He was. About the 700 metres, he just stopped and refused to go any further. I think he, from memory, went down with the lead pony, but a few of the gate boys had to come and grab him. I think one of David Hayes' assistants as well was down there, and they had to get him. I think they had to reverse him a few times to get him closer to the gates, and it took him a wee while to get down there. So they'll be very nervous about what he is going to do, because sometimes horses can get into that habit and they don't get out of it. Another horse that David Hayes had sort of in the last 12, 18 months that did that was the Multiplier.
He was indeed. He was a grey, the Multiplier, a little bit like Silver King, whose trial form has looked okay since his last start.
Yeah, first and a fifth in the trials, this beating Golden Field here. Deemed unacceptable last time out, second consecutive occasion, and found to be a roarer, so not ideal on a horse that they had certainly high hopes for getting towards the 4-year-old series and maybe the Derby. Whether that's still on the agenda or not, I don't know. The trial was good, but needs to lift on his last couple of performances, because his debut run was very good.
That is a breakdown of runners in the TVB Cup. Is Global Harmony's biggest danger Global Harmony? Yeah,
has to be. You've got to hold on to your hats, fingers, toes, everything crossed that he jumps Global Harmony. If he does, he can win, because we know he's got a lethal turn of foot. Superb Boy in for a second, Ortula Begil, and Silver King should be an okay price, just where he ends up from barrier at number 12, and if he can put a couple of bad performances behind him. 11, 9, 3 and 12.
And that is the preview for race number 8. It's the first leg of the late treble. Race number 9 has an eye on it towards the next leg of the 4-year-old series, with plenty of these horses heading possibly towards the Derby. It's a Class 3 over the 1800. The Best Peach at the top of the book comes back from the 1800. Moments in Time, he last ran ninth in the Classic Mile. Woodfire Bros racing well. Simple Hedge placed over 2,000 last start. Packing Hurricanes run third behind Amazing Run at the trial since we last saw him. Simply Mavericks won 3 of his last 4 over at Happy Valley. Enigma led up at pace over the 2,000 metres, and Gallant Hero is a 2-time winner over the 1800, but both at the other courses outside of the Sha Tin turf. Moments in Time leading here. This is controversial, this speed map, Tom, because Enigma led up last time, and there is a train of thought that he might lead again.
And the big man's not here to defend himself, so I'm going to take apart this one. That I think Enigma can certainly lead in this race. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but he led and set a relatively strong tempo last time out with 23.61 and 23.7 through those first portions of the race. So, look, I think he can lead here. Moments in Time won't be far away, and neither will the Wood on Fire. And Simply Maverick will just need a little bit of luck, but with the big long run down the back straight, there's plenty of opportunity for him to get in. But I'm hanging my hat here on Enigma leading.
All right, well, there could be a little bit of tension between the boys when he returns next week for Lally, but we'll find out what happens when they jump in race number 9. We'll also hear right now from Zach Purton with Necri Simple Hedge.
Zach, Simple Hedge, one of your rides in the 1800 metre race on the weekend. He's racing well at the moment without winning. It looks as if he's ready to go close again.
Yeah, he's just sort of not really doing anything wrong, is he? He's going to the races and he's competing every time, but just seems to keep finding one better than him.
You're the only man that has ridden him, so you'll be obviously very well placed to judge. He's had those blinkers on his last 3. Do you feel that they've sort of helped him in finding that little bit required?
I think they have helped him, but I think as a horse, mentally, he's going to be better in time. He still doesn't quite know how to lengthen and hit the line properly and put them away and just get the job done. He gets there and he floats. His head carriage is quite high. So I think he's still trying to work it out a little bit, and there's going to be a little bit more there to come.
Without wanting to sort of get too far ahead of ourselves, obviously he is in the Derby. Obviously it's always a big talking point this time of year. He has run well over 2,000. Might a race like that perhaps come a bit quick if that's the way they opted to go, or how much has he still got to prove himself, do you think?
Oh, his rating suggests that he's still got a little bit to find on the other horses, but he can run the distance. He showed that last time. He's competitive, so if the owners wanted to run there, there's no reason why he can't take his place.
And that is Zach talking Simple Hedge. Moments in time. Tom, we're going back 2 starts ago for him to Happy Valley. Little outclassed last time in the Classic Mile, and there's a number of 4-year-old series contenders that he has to try and roll this week too.
Yeah, indeed, and it was a good run here at Happy Valley, but he hasn't fronted up at Sha Tin in the past, has moments in time, so he needs to do that. Drawn nicely here in Barrier 4, every opportunity to do so. Has led in the past. He should be close attendance here to the pace, but need to see him front up at Sha Tin, which he hasn't done so far.
Neither is this horse, Tom, Simply Maverick, but he's big and green and raw and still learning what it's all about. He does come back to Sha Tin in grand form.
Yeah, and he's got the runs on the board so far, so even though he hasn't performed here at Sha Tin, I'm happy to put him in here. He's been flying around Happy Valley, almost arguably should have 4 wins in a row if it wasn't for that bad interference he got in the race that eventually was won by 2 Infinity. But it's just the manner that he's been doing it in has been most impressive, so I think he can take the next step.
Steps up to the 1800 for the first time. Good race, the 9th.
Yeah, it certainly is. Going though with the Zach Purton mount in this, and that of course is Simple Hedge, who kept coming behind Car Young Generation last time out. Don't think the drop back and trip will be any concern for him. The 4-year-old by Sebring. It's between Simple Hedge and Simply Maverick. The best peach here in this 85 to 60 race, I think, gets an opportunity. He ran on well last time out. Woodfire Bro is never normally too far away, and he should get a perfect run in transit as well. 4, 7, 1 and 3.
It might be Simply Simple. Race number 9, according to Tom, with Simple Hedge to beat Simply Maverick. And we finish Sunday on the all-weather with a good race here, and there's a lot of form you can line up because they clash a lot. A number of these. It's a Class 3 over the 1650. True Legends had 2 trials since his last start. Blinkers off, cheek pieces go back on, and the tongue ties off too. Yellowfin's won 3 from his last 6. Adderfill has a wider draw but is very consistent. Last start winner So We Joy carries an extra £8. Fiery Diamond is minus the visor. Beautyverse is minus the blinkers and the hood. Leslie has the pacifiers with the cows going on to replace the blinkers. Self-Improvement has the blinkers off, and Friend Tank, he's got a hood going on. Gear changes galore in race number 10. Now it is Yellowfin Massive Action going forward. Tom, Amazing Ducker showing pace, and a lot of pace in his trials on the all-weather.
Yeah, so there's should be plenty of pace into the first turn here, and he's going to find it tricky to get in from his stall of barrier number 11. Massive Action likes to roll forward. Hasn't quite been able to lead to outright his last couple. Yellowfin is another one that likes to lead, and even horse like Fiery Diamond has led in the past. He's got barrier number 5. Friend Tank should hopefully get a good run from barrier 2 behind the pace. Another horse that has also led.
Yellowfin is our first point of interest as Nick speaks to his jockey, Lyle Hewitson.
Lyle, Yellowfin, one of your rides coming up on the weekend. He's a horse holding his form nicely on the all-weather.
Yeah, ever consistent horse. He's really done well since winning his maiden in Hong Kong. He's continued a good vein of form, and like you said, since stepping onto the all-weather, he's been able to go up one more notch and keep performing well. So looking forward to be aboard him.
What is it, do you think about him? Obviously, you're his rider, or you one of them that rides in Plentiful. He's improved 15 pounds this season. What is it you think that's sort of changed with him, and maybe the going forward tactics as well? He seems to be a bit more prominent now.
Yeah, I think going forward certainly helps, just because he can be quite keen mid-race, so you're not susceptible to races pace changing. He sort of can make his own luck, or at least be on the sharp end of things, that he can navigate his way around that. So that certainly helped. But a lot of time horses, once they crack their maiden, they go up in confidence, and the more you adapt to Hong Kong, the more you improve. So I think a number of aspects have added up to accumulate to him having good success here.
Typically of these races, you meet a lot of the similar sort of rivals. Have you had a chance to sit on him since? How's he felt?
Yep, sat on him since. He's held his form well. no complaints. I think he's in the same vein of form as he has been recently, and that's all we can ask for. So he's ready to go again.
Lyle, you won't mind me reminding you now that you've got to the target. It took an age to get to 100, a bit like London buses now. They continue to come, and the most recent meeting at Happy Valley, you managed to boot a few more home as well. But nice to get to that figure, I'm sure.
Yeah, from your lips to God's ears. Hopefully they can keep coming. But yeah, great to have got over that little hurdle and tick that box off. And hopefully that's just a small milestone in what I hope to achieve in Hong Kong.
Lyle Hewitson there talking Yellowfin. We're going to see that replay again, Tom, because there are so many of these horses clashing again. So we Joy work to this win. A lot of extra weight on his back, though. What are you taking out of race 368?
Frantank, I think he's just about ready to win this horse, especially with Zach Purton going on board. I think that's a key booking here. The hood is on. He's £7 better off here. Trial up at Chung Fa since, and in that trial he was jumping away a little bit awkward, but was put under no pressure. I think it might be a bit tougher for So We Joy. Adderfield has to go in as well, and Yellowfin was a bit one pace there over the final stage. Definitely taking Frantank out of that though.
Michael Chang has 2 in the race. Leslie is the other one. He's been racing over the 1400 metres, goes to the 1650 here. He has won 2 from his last 5 starts.
Now, this was only on Monday, and I know he finished 9th, but it wasn't a bad night. You can see he's got nowhere to go there. The horse in front of him is stopping, and there's no real gap for him to get through. So you can see he's lost a fair bit of momentum there, and they are still not the 200 metres, and his rider in this race last time out, Derek Long, hasn't really even moved. Now he pushes him. It doesn't really look like he's going anywhere, but the last bit of this, I thought, was the best of it from Leslie. And if they go mad in front, that could really suit him here on the all-weather.
Is that enough out of that race to have him in your top 4?
Yeah, he's definitely in. He's in for 4th is Leslie, but I went with right down towards the bottom here, Frantank, number 12, to beat Adderfield, who's £7 better off, with So We Joy for that beating of 1 3/4. Yellowfin a little bit soft late last time out, but to give him another chance from barrier number 4. And Leslie pacifies with the cows go on. The blinkers are off, barrier 13, so we'll be back and hopefully running on off a strong tempo. 12, 3, 2 and 8.
And that is the last of the 10 races in the race by race preview for TVB race day at Sha Tin on Sunday. 6 on the C+3, 4 on the all weather, and the first gets underway at 1 o'clock.